Hey everyone, this is Sean Butner, Certified High Performance Coach, and I wanted to do the weekly video in a little bit of a different format. So, for those of the folks that are not live with me here on Facebook, you're seeing this after, but this is very live. So, if there's weird sounds, people walking in, animals jumping around, or whatever, then it's not going to get edited out. So, okay, the question that I have for you today, or the thing that that I've been thinking about, is, you know, there's one thing that really robs us of happiness in our life, and it's pretty prevalent. Prevalent. It's out there in the culture. So, what am I talking about? And I'm talking about complaining. There are so many people that are complaining online. It's nuts. And I'm complaining about complaining, and I know that's really funny to me at least. That it's kind of meta. But last week I was at this amazing conference. As you may have heard, I 2 weeks ago quit my corporate job. I'm doing this coaching and content creation stuff full time now. So I hope you see more videos and higher quality stuff coming out. But I'm at this week, and there's amazing people that are all service minded. Have service in their heart. They're trying to help other people do things that are greater and kind of have that ripple effect out. And it struck me, there's a few people that I've known for a little bit that were very complaining about the whole thing. And between that and then, if you watch Game of Thrones and have been on Twitter, like there's tons of things that people are picking apart. And it just kind of got me feeling like, it's a very human thing to complain. So it's not that there's not a time and place for it, but it really doesn't serve us because, as a high performer and as a high performance coach, we know that the opposite of complaining isn't gratitude, it's self control and self agency. And what do I mean by that? It's, when you feel like you have control of your own destiny, or that you can control your environment, or that you can do something that makes a difference, you're very much less inclined to complain. So, the people that I met during this awesome week, felt like some parts of, maybe their business were out of control or whatever it was. I can relate to that, and I can relate to people being upset about something that's had this big cultural impact like Game of Thrones. And people would be picking it apart, especially as we're getting closer to the end. I think we'll probably see a lot more of it, but at the end of the day, it's this loss of control that people complain, and I'm guilty of this in my life. I'm not saying that, or pointing out things that I see in other people that I don't do myself. It's that high performers know to recognize it and know how to change that so that they get back in their agency and can get back to doing cool shit and moving forward. So that's what I'm hoping to accomplish in this video. So with that said, if you want to learn how to have a little bit more self-control, a little bit of agency in your life, what does that look like? How can you accomplish that? And I have a couple of my favorite techniques that I use with my clients, or I use in myself or with myself in my life, that will just help you get control again. Feel like you can make a difference and get to the work of moving forward and not complaining about things you can't change. So the first thing to think about that I have for you guys is, what's the next best action? So if you're stuck in your career, you don't know how to get that promotion, you don't know how to grow the market, you don't know how to lead the team better. Sometimes you can be overwhelmed, and sometimes you can put blame on others. It's like, oh, it's this person's fault, it's that person's fault. But at the end of the day, what can you do to better show up, to better lead, to better impact what's going on, or to make a change in the results that the group's getting? So, it could be that you treat people a little bit kinder. It could be that, you're reaching out to a market that you guys haven't really talked to before. Or, that's the kind of thing that'll get you focused more and thinking a little bit more in the future, too. Like, that's really important when you want to really, be going at it. So, the second thing is to be excited, right? And what that does, when you're excited for what you can do today or what's going to come ahead, it's really hard to get into that negative kind of like complaining mind space, because when you're excited, you want to go and do things. So even if there's things that you don't want to do in the day, and maybe you're like, well, I really, really don't want to go to the dentist, Sean. And I'm like, oh, I get that. But you can be excited for afterwards to go and hang out with your kid at the park, so there's things that you can do to help generate that excitement so that, it can, you can feel like you have some control over the day and what you're doing. So the third thing is, and I said that the opposite of complaining is not gratitude, but self-control. Thankfulness, actually, and gratitude is a part of how you can build that positive mind states. But a lot of people are so pulled, especially, talking out there on the internet now, on that's like the end-all be-all. But really, what gratitude can do is help make you feel grounded now so that you can move forward without a lot of negative junk, right? And so if we're moving forward, if we're thinking about the future, if we're grateful for our family and our friends and our teams and the people that helped us get to where we are, and we, feel that, it's much harder to complain about things when they don't matter, So if you're complaining that it's raining out, people do this all the time, but you're like, my parents sacrificed a lot to, immigrate over to this country. Maybe they, sacrificed a lot of their career to make sure that you'd be better off. And knowing that, like, getting a little bit soaked seems really silly when you do that comparison. So that's the kind of stuff and the power of thankfulness and gratitude that can help propel you future with more and more self-control. Okay. There are times, too, which should lead to the fourth thing, is to ask for help, Sometimes it is out of your control, or maybe it's a bigger thing and you need more hands and eyes and brain power to help move forward. So, being able to have a connection where you could ask a family member, like, hey, I'm really struggling with this. Hey, guy at work that I know you're really, really good at solving this type of problem. How would you approach it? How do I, move past it like you, So that's something to think about. It's awesome. But yeah, asking for help can be very, very, very powerful. It's actually probably one of my biggest weaknesses. I think I can do everything myself when really I should say, hey, I'm struggling. This is a little bit overwhelming. Come help me. So, but it's really powerful. And then again, we talked about what's the next best action, but like, what do you have to do next? Again, I'm going to reinforce this point where, like, if you know the next action, it's really easy to go and just do it and not get caught up in the drama of the, complaining and all that stuff. You can go out there, you can go and crush it and move this thing forward, and it'll be all cool and dandy. So those are my 5 things for having more agency and to complain less in your life. And, when you really, like, own your life and you really take control of what your actions are, what you can do, and you don't focus as much on the things that you can't control, you just have a higher quality of life. You have an energy to it. People are actually drawn to that because so many people complain about so many stupid things, or silly things, or, things that seem really important to them, but in the grand scheme of things, with a little bit more perspective, if you're honest, are not that big of a deal. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll be posting it up on the blog if you're watching this live. So any case, hope you enjoyed it, guys. I'll talk to you later. Take care. This is Sean Butner. Peace out. I don't know about that, but